Hi everybody, welcome to the QB School. I am JT O'Sullivan. Today we are talking favorite plays. Fired up for this one. Let's dive into it. Welcome to the QB School. Before we dive into the video, I want to quickly mention the Quarterback School Patreon community relaunch. So never been cheaper, never been easier to become a Quarterback School Patreon community member. Get over there, check it out. The link is in the description to this video. I sincerely appreciate the support. I really do. It goes a long way towards making this channel what it is and what I aspire it to be moving forward. So I appreciate you getting over there, checking it out, becoming a Patreon community member. In addition to that, you also get in-depth content. Really long-form content, really trying to create the environment of what it's like in an NFL quarterback meeting room. So get over there, check it out. I appreciate it. So this one, the question comes from my man, Rick. He says, JT, thank you for everything you put into the channel. And then this is really where we're going to spend this video right here. One question, suggestion that I thought I'd submit through the Patreon was creating a video that you discuss your favorite passing plays concepts from when you were a player at Davis and in the NFL. I think it is common for quarterbacks to have certain plays that they have a higher level of comfort in. So I would be curious to know which concepts you enjoyed running at your different spots. You mentioned in your videos certain routes that you aren't a huge fan of. Quick outs to the sideline by the #1 wide receiver for sure. So I thought it would be interesting to hear about routes and concepts that you really like. So Rick, really outstanding question on a number of different levels. What I'm going to do is hedge it here right out the gate. And then I'm going to talk really with two examples, one from college, one from professional ball, and kind of be able to carry over exactly what that looked like and why they were my favorite plays. So my hedge is that my favorite play was throwing the ball to the best player. And I know that might sound like me being a little facetious, but I really do feel that way, that I really don't care what the route is. As long as I'm throwing it to a really good player, then I'll take my chances on my comfort level being able to throw it. And so that wasn't necessarily always the case. And so I do think that you're not totally off base to say that quarterbacks are more comfortable in certain concepts. And so in that vein, I'm going to answer the question about favorite play in college, favorite play in professional sports. In short, the one in college was essentially a backside post. We'll talk about exactly what that looks like. And then in the professional level, it was mostly an in route, usually off play action, not necessarily always. I just love the timing, tempo, rhythm of what that deep in felt like at the pro level, usually about 20 yards. So got some video of that. Don't have any video of the college. I do have installs from the college playbook that we'll be able to talk about. But this college play, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the channel, but it really was, and probably still is, my favorite football play that I was ever around for a few different reasons. One, we scored a lot of touchdowns off of it, and I got a chance to throw a lot of big plays off of it. But also, it was a pretty unique play. I don't think you can necessarily do this at every level of football, and I'm not sure you can get away with it anymore. You know, this was 20 plus years ago, running this consistently. But what it was called at Davis was gap boot. And it was essentially a play action that would allow us to throw the ball down the field. And so I really have a vivid memory of the first time I ever ran it in college. I had a great college coach that was a former quarterback, and we had a pretty powerful offense throwing the ball back in the day. And it wasn't just me by any means. We had a long list of athletic, dynamic quarterbacks and playmakers on the perimeter. And when we called this the first time I ran it in kind of a live situation, I was used to kind of keepers, nakeds, where you move the launch point of the quarterback, not necessarily like true old school boot, where you're moving the launch point and you would, the first read is usually in the flat. And I think that that's still true on like nakeds or keepers, where you're trying to get the ball to the flat. But this was a true, what I would consider old school boot, where we're moving the launch point, we're pulling guards, we're wrapping people around, we're securing the edge, and it's really to take a shot down the field. And I remember the coach came up to me and said, "You think that we're moving all these people, we're selling all this action for you to throw a flat? If we want to throw a flat, we'll just raise up and throw a flat. We're trying to sell the defense one way and take a shot down the field. This is about throwing the ball down the field." And that really never left me. And so the idea that we are going to have this big sellout, this big play action fake, all to come out and rip a flat is not what we wanted to do back in the day, and not really what I want to do ever. And so this was a great way to be able to do it. I can tell you that I've had a number of guys that I used to play with back in the day come up to me and talk about this play specifically, and about how when we would call this in the huddle, whether you played wide receiver or offensive line, anywhere on the offense, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see you in the end zone after this thing. It was that type of vibe, that type of mentality, and that's just kind of the attacking way that we went about it. But this play was really kind of the bloodstream to be able to have that kind of confidence. So let's take a quick look at the generic install here. And again, my note-taking skills got a lot better over the course of my career, but you can see here the kind of blueprint of what I'm talking about as far as gap boot, take a shot down the field. So here's the play. Gap boot, and again, kind of just a way for us to be able to move the launch point. Now, I don't even want to go back and revisit it, but the numbers were backwards, so even the odds were switched for me in high school and college. Not fun to relearn those things. Play philosophy: sell the run, break contain, best used, throw the ball down the field. The progression: how often do you see this progression? 1, post; 2, waggle, that's the over; 3, flat. Love it. Big time fake. Protection's outside. They're trying to set the edge. Don't throw flat unless it's wide open where you have pressure. Love it. This is to take a shot down the field. We are trying to throw this right down the field. And there's a bunch of different ways to do it. This is just kind of a generic 2x2. But again, it's not just a philosophy, it's also how it's blocked, which is a really important part of this play. So how it was blocked is one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to do. And really, I think it probably was hard to do back in the day. But the essence of this thing is I always try to go play side. So if we're booting to the right, the tight end is always in ceiling. You got to have a tight end who can hold up on the edge. Right? Then the front side guard and tackle are going down. So it used to work the best for sure versus clean, even front here. Now this is a big boy block, right? He's going all the way down. Technically, he's got this gap. Both these guys have this gap. But again, it gets a little bit complicated because we're going to pull the backside guard. He's going to get out around that tight end, securing the edge. And then we're going to loop the center. And I can't tell you how many times back in the day that loop shot was an absolute murder shot. So essentially you get a 2-person wall. You're going to set this fake. You're going to get the guard coming out to be your personal protector. And then you're going to get an ambulance shot coming around outside that guard looking to clean up anything on the backside. So hopefully you get some movement with the fake. Hopefully they don't just, pin their ears back and try to get after the quarterback in a pass rush. But this is a big time, secure the gap, swing out of there, gap and hinge, however you want to call it. But to say that he's going to go here, he's going to go here, he's going to hinge all the way to there, puts a lot of stress on the back too to get involved in the backside pass protection. But if you get all of that, you've got this 2-person wall. You've got the guard, pulling guard, and the looping center. And I can't tell you how much fun those centers used to have coming back, hitting somebody who had no idea they were coming. And so all that action with a secured edge from a tight end to throw the ball down the field. And we manipulated different ways. Maybe sometimes we pulled both guards if we couldn't get the front block the way we wanted. But this really happened quite a bit. And this makes it really tough on why you probably can't do this very consistently at higher levels of ball. It's just really hard to pull these types of things off. But man, the centers used to love to come back here and just absolutely ear hole, not safe block anymore. You can see how it's blocked up against a bunch of different looks down here. Not going to go through every single one, but that 2-person wall allowed us to chuck it down the field. And then here's a few different iterations of gap boot. So we used to call a dog 20-yard deep out, trying to get that deep out. Here's the one that really scored a lot of points for us. 1x3 nub and throw the post to the number 2. You catch middle field closed here before the days of 3 invert. The free safety right there would drive that over. Corner would stay out here with the outside go, and there'd be nobody as long as you can throw it on a big post up over the top. Big boy throw, set your feet, let it rip. Big fan of it. Little bench play. Ziao didn't used to run that much of. A little bit of this X under we definitely ran a lot of with a little short motion. Again, same type of play as the 3x1. Just getting there with changing around who in the zoo as far as who's running the post. The other play that we used to run a lot was very similar to this top right one, except we run it out of 13 personnel. So you get down in here. It's like you're running power or counter right back at this side, and then you come out and hit post from underneath there. But again, anytime we caught middle field closed zone, we were going to run this play immediately. Love it. Just gap boot. My goodness. Touchdowns all over the place. So that was college. Now professional football. Again, I preferred to throw it to whoever the best player was. But if I had to pick one concept that I loved the most, it was the deep in. And usually the deep in off play action. I just thought it was easier. There's usually more space out there. It's a similar, the throw is obviously the same, whether it's drop back or play action. But it's really this kind of semi-drive, semi-touch. Think of it as almost like, I'm not the greatest golfer in the world, but like a nice, confident 7-iron. You know, if you're a fan of Tin Cup, you just put that thing right up and over. Really great control. Now, the landmark of this play changes a little bit with play action. Sometimes play action, the in route will be a little bit closer to the hash versus out a little, maybe like 2 yards inside the numbers in the drop back game. But besides for the landmark changing for the target, the timing and the throw of this to me was really what I enjoyed the most, just because really impossible to stop if you can put it up on the guy's face, up and over the second level defender, the linebacker types, down before the safety can collide this thing. It's just a great way to get that chunk throw down the field that is really, really tough to stop. So now, a little bonus footage here. Yours truly ripping some play action ins. So here we go. Some play action ins. Big fake here. Get your hips around, lined up to the target. Got to get off the launch point a little bit. 2 hands on the ball. What? Again, right on the hash. A little bit behind him. But again, not going to beat myself up for having to move off the launch point there. It's going to mess with the timing a little bit. But you can see here, you know, once you get to that movement in the pocket, get that base back underneath you. You know, again, would obviously love to have 2 hands on the ball there. Wasn't my forte. But again, get that back foot in the ground, drive it down the field, up and over that second level defender, right on the receiver's face. Another example here, again, play action, shot, you know, don't love the heel clickiness at the top of this thing, right there, that's for sure, yikes. But I do love getting back to your base right there. Smooth, lined up, quick strike, again, slow motion, but the release looks quick. Again, helps with the play action to have a little bit more space, usually behind that second level defender. One more time. Quick fake, up, reset, drive the ball. Again, between the hashes. Probably say a little late with as far as what the footwork looked like there, timing-wise at the top of that thing. But again, a lot of space. One more here, play action, a little field level, you're welcome. Again, just so you can kind of see the touch of that throw. It's not a fastball, but it's not a changeup either. It's not like a lob, you know, like you're dropping it out of a helicopter. You got to get it up and down, smooth, in rhythm. Fun stuff. So that is a wrap. Favorite plays from both college and professional football. College, love the backside, big play post, off gap boot action when we were at Davis. And then professionally, love the play action deep in. Nice kind of feathered throw. You still have to have the capacity to drive it, but you show a little bit of touch over that second level defender. So thank you so much. Great question, Rick. Appreciate you hanging to the end. I will see you next time. Have a good one.